I'm going to see if I can show you how to do a winter hanging basket. It's really simple, and actually it'll take much less time than you might think it is. First of all, get your basket, do any repairs to it that you might need. So in this case, this was coming apart there, so all I've done, the lovely thing about gardening is you can bodge it to a degree, is I just put a little tie around there just to hold that together. You don't want it falling apart, it's going to be this windy and wet thing. Put some just normal compost in there, multi-purpose compost. You don't need food in this thing. Sometimes in summer baskets you put slow release food in there, but you don't need to because it's winter things. They're not going to put on a lot of growth. So what I do say sometimes it's really handy is to have horticultural grit and shop around for this, because some places charge the earth for it, but I've got a great place near me that does about 5 of this massive sack of it. You can use it as a top dressing as well. It's handy for bulbs, whatever you're doing with bulbs this year. So put a bit of that in there. Just shake it around a bit. The reason I do this is to give better drainage to the plants I'm going to put in, because otherwise you find that the compost can just sort of clog up and get solid, and then the roots get solid, and it's not good. So it lets a bit more freedom there. Anyway, get your gloves on. Your filthy hands. So I'm going to be using winter flowering. Well, they're big called violas, but you might sort of see them as pansies. But these lovely inky blue ones. Yeah. Good healthy plants as well. Check them as well, because they can get like mildew and a bit of rotting on them. So I've got some of those. I've got probably going to put 3 of those in, 3 white heathers, and some cineraria. See those? And they actually get quite big, so you'll be getting rid of those or putting them on something else later on. Really straightforward here though. Tip your pansies out first of all. And in triangles. Put them there. So I'm not going to gloves off this. That's what I was saying about the kind of bits that might rot a little bit. Get anything off that's a bit yellow and rotten. They like to be deadheaded as well. Now that's a new plant coming out. So generally, if you find your pansies are getting a bit tattered, say like that, see that flower? Just as they're starting to go over, pick the heads off. You'll get more new flowers come regularly. If you leave them on, they produce seed heads, and then that's kind of what it's work done then, really. It's nature for you. With any flower like that, if you pick the heads off, deadheading, which you'll have heard of, then it realises its work isn't done, and then you have to do it, it has to do another flower to get more seeds produced. It's a lot like life. So anyway, there's 3 in, right? So they're all to that level there. And these are at winter spring flowering. And do check that if you're going to put those in, because otherwise you'll end up with some that don't do anything until the summer, and they might need a bit of a whack. Quite good size actually, guys. So dig them in again. Look, see, it looks quite festive already. Do love these. Oh, dear me, they're quite tough as well. And I say, well, afterwards, if you look after them, you can shove some of these in the garden, put them in another planter. Push him in. Got to show him his boss. Right, third one. Give a good squeeze there, the roots don't mind. Again. That's what I do. I just part of the soil really with my hand. Squish him in. Put a bit more soil in there. Just top it up to make sure it's all covered. Now what I thought I'd do, just to lift it a bit, is shove in some of these. I never got that. Just go in the middle. No, maybe I'll just put one in the middle, because it will get bigger. So that's all looking nice, isn't it? See how that silver just lifts it a little bit there. Then, this is the trick to your pots and containers. Again, come back to the grit. all over the top. Sprinkle it around. Gives it a really nice finish, really. And I use this stuff on all my pots. And if you're putting bulbs into pots as well, they look a bit bare. This could just give quite a nice top on it. It stops the weeds coming through as well when you use it in containers. It helps protect it, keeps the moisture in. So in summer baskets you can do it to keep the moisture in as well. Shove it around. And then when you do eventually tip all this out and it goes into your flower beds, it's like a mulch. That's what I usually do with all my old hanging baskets. With the grit in there as well, it helps with drainage in your flower beds. It's all one sort of nice circle, really. Saves it getting wasted. Right, so how are we looking? Okay. So there we go. You can see you've got a lovely, colourful basket there. And they'll bush out a bit more. Oh, don't want my head on that one. And give it some water. They don't need watering as often as the summer ones because they hold a lot of moisture there. But don't let it dry out, like if it's under a canopy or in the porchway or something. Just keep your just put your finger in there now and again, and if the soil sticks to it, you should be alright. They don't need feeding, and be patient because they'll just sit quite nicely like that. But once the temperature starts to warm up a little bit, you'll find they're putting a lot of weight again. And then into spring, you'll have an amazing show of flowers because they'll be so established by then. So, let's see how you get on. Happy gardening.